Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Let's get this party started. If I was Pink, I'd be singing. Manchester United transfer news on the United Stand, but positivity! We've got a game in the early hours of Friday morning. We'll be doing a watch-along. Manchester United versus Club America. The kids are playing. Can't wait. Can't wait for that. And you know what? In relation to the transfer stuff, as Phil Collins once sang, you can't hurry love. You've just got to wait because love don't come easy. It's a game of give and take. No, we don't want to go down that route, but let's get into it. And I just want to say as well, if I had £1 for every time somebody asked me what's the latest with Alexandro, I'd probably have about £98.50. What is the latest with Alexandro? Well, as I said last night on the United Stand show, that Darmian's agent is pretty confident that he's going to be going to Juventus. That should, you would expect, although you would never guarantee it when it comes to Manchester United transfer negotiations, mean that if we are in for Sandro and we're selling Juventus a player that he plays for, a player, then we should be able to do that deal. Let's wait and see, because there is an interesting point to that. Manchester United, Jose Mourinho, lots and lots of positivity around Luke Shaw at the moment. 3 into 2 don't do. We can't have 3 left-backs. We can't have Shaw, Sandro and Ashley Young. It just doesn't work. And those 3 players are effectively left-backs. That's all they can do. They can't be left centre-backs. They can't be left wingers. Well, Ashley Young can, but you know he never gets played on the wing these days. So Sandro means Shaw goes. And at the moment, there's a lot of positivity around Luke Shaw. What I want to ask you lot is your first question of the day. Take on the challenge if you dare. Get in the comments below. Tell us, who would you go for, Sandro or Shaw, and why? Because Sandro means selling Shaw. Keeping Shaw means not getting Sandro. So tell me below, which would you prefer and why? Really want to see those comments. Might even put a poll up for you as well. Keep an eye, top right hand corner. Anyway, actually I will do that. Anyway, let's get into the latest transfer news. Lots going on around Bayern Munich yesterday. Some of it nonsense, some of it I think quite good. Let's start with the nonsense. This was in the Independent, I think. I say nonsense, that's not very fair. Lewandowski was mentioned, which I think is total nonsense. I mean, he's 29 years of age. He probably cost anywhere around 70 to 80 million pounds. Yes, he's been angling for a move from Bayern Munich. Yes, Manchester United have been mentioned, but Manchester United get mentioned a lot. In fact, I think we've dodged the bullet quite a lot this summer. I think the World Cup has saved us that frustration in a summer that's been very frustrating, but we haven't had that many players being linked to Manchester United, just using us for contracts and things like that. We had Talisco at the start of the season. Ended up going to China. We were clearly never in for him. And I think Lewandowski's been one of those where we have been mentioned in relation to him, but we're not getting him. And the reality is, if we went and spent 80 million on Lewandowski, I'd be absolutely furious. We don't need him. He's a number 9, but we've got Lukaku. He's a number 9, but we've got Rashford. He's a number 9 that we've got Martial. If we were going to get another striker, I'd want somebody who's a lot cheaper, who can offer us something off the bench. And maybe we'll be talking about somebody like that in a moment. But Lewandowski to Manchester United is a total and utter nonsense. You watch it happen now, but if we did do it, I'd think that is incompetence, signing a player like that. He'd want to play every week. And Lewandowski and Lukaku in a front two wouldn't work anyway. They're too different. And actually, I don't think Lewandowski's that. I nearly said he wasn't that good. He's good, but a bit like I said about Bonucci, in the Premier League, Lewandowski, he's been banging goals in a pub league for years. He wasn't that good in the World Cup. That's not a reason to dislike him. And I know some of you will say that, but actually, for me, Lewandowski's not what Manchester United need, and I wouldn't want him even if we were looking for a number 9. It would be a Cardi for me. So no for Lewandowski, but Thiago's been linked to us as well in the same article, so you can probably take it with a huge pinch of salt. Thiago is one of those players. Bayern Munich are basically looking to shift some players out this summer because they've got Goretzka, I think they want Werner, they want Pavard, there's a couple of other players that they're looking at, so they're looking to try and shift some players out. And there's quite a long list. Boateng's one, Lewandowski I don't think is one, I think he wants to move himself. Thiago's another one, Vidal, who I'm going to talk about in a minute, is another one. So Thiago, Manchester United, I'd love him to come to Manchester United, there's nothing wrong with him. He should have been a Manchester United player before he went to Bayern Munich. Moyes messed that one up, taking too long. Snooze you lose, Dave. Literally. And he fell asleep on that deal. But would I take Thiago now? Just turned 27. He's still a good player. In fact, I think he's probably the perfect age for Manchester United. We've got a few younger players. We've got a few older players. And he sort of falls into that experience category. Good player. I think he'd do well in the Premier League. But I think he's far more suited to a Manchester City than he is for us. And oh what? Manchester City need a midfielder, don't they? So maybe that's where he's going to end up. I don't see him ending up at Manchester United. Although I would welcome him at the club. Vidal is interesting because Vidal is surplus to requirements at Bayern Munich. He's probably available for around 20 to 30 million pounds. 31. We've spoken about him in the past before. Vidal years ago when United were linked to him, what a signing he would have been. Would I want him now? Do I think Manchester United will do it? I think it's a stretch to think that we would do it, because he's recovering from the knee injury. If you were watching the Champions League, he did his knee. I forget who it was against. It may well have been against Real Madrid in the first leg. And he's just recovering from that. So it has echoes of the Schweinsteiger deal, doesn't it? Who we all got very excited about, none more so than me. If you watched the video, I was absolutely ecstatic at that news. But then he came with a bit of an injury record and it didn't work out that well. To me, I would take Vidal rather than not sign any more midfielders, which I don't think we are going to do. But I would like Vidal because I think he'd give us something with what we've got. And I think for 20 to 30 million pounds, he'd be a good signing even at 31. But I know a lot of you are going to jump on there saying you're a hypocrite. You didn't want Matic at 29, but you'll take Vidal at 31. And to be honest with you, it's just romance. It's why I take Ronaldo back even now, because it's just romance. I can convince myself I don't want players who are over 30, but actually, if it's someone like Vidal, I can't help myself. I keep making the same mistake again and again. I did it with Schweinsteiger. So I would take him at Manchester United, despite everybody's moaning, I can imagine, in the live comments. But you know what? You can only be honest. You can only be honest. And let's talk about Arnautovic as well. Now, West Ham have spent a lot of money this summer. They will be moving players out. Arnautovic, mentioned by TalkSport, funnily enough. I don't know what their source was. Roma and Manchester United. Now, the only reason I'm mentioning Arnautovic is I think he probably will leave West Ham. And can you remember, Dimarzio, what a great source you were for Manchester United for years. You made the summer so enjoyable when you linked us to players. But in all seriousness, Dimarzio has defected to Liverpool because we're so rubbish at transfers. He's telling them that they're going to get Alisson and everybody else, and Liverpool fans are speaking about Dimarzio like we used to speak about Dimarzio. We've lost him. Not through any fault of his own. I still love Dimarzio, but he's not been very good for Manchester United stuff this summer because we've not been doing much. Although what I would say is I'm very, very surprised that for all these people saying that we're close to a Sandro deal, Dimarzio's never really said anything about it. And yet he's Italian-based. And he's all over what they were doing with Ronaldo, but nothing about Sandro. Read into that what you will. Read into that what you will, because it doesn't mean anything, or does it mean something? But Dimarzio did release something about Manchester United a couple of months ago, and he mentioned Arnautovic and Mandzukic. So with Arnautovic potentially leaving West Ham and Mandzukic potentially leaving Juventus, do we put weight on Dimarzio like we have in the past? And I think you've got to. I think his credibility is there in the past, and I think you've got to. And would you welcome Arnautovic at Manchester United? Would you welcome Mandzukic? If out of those two, I'd take Arnautovic because he's younger by about 3 years, he's quicker, and he's got more to his game. He's more skillful. So, I mean, to be honest, I've got to be blunt and say I'd rather neither. But if it's either, I would go with Arnautovic because he's Premier League proven to a certain extent. And I think, he's about 6'3" as well, which I hadn't realised. So I think Arnautovic off the bench would be good. And you know what? I'm going to sit Liverpool fans down here because there will be people saying, well, you didn't want Shaqiri. I think Arnautovic is double the player that Shaqiri is. I really do. And I think, he's double the size as well. But, yeah. So, maybe Arnautovic will happen to Manchester United. Just keep an eye on that. I mean, it's not a deal that's going to make me absolutely ecstatic, but it may well happen. And I've left this one till the end because I think it needs to be left till the end. Toby Alderweireld. Again, that was coming around yesterday that Manchester United may be able to do a deal for him because Spurs are going to realise with him coming back from his holidays that they've got to get some money for him because if he's... Alderweireld's probably going to leave Spurs, let's be honest, or he's going to sign a new contract. There's only... The thing is, I pretty much know for a fact that Manchester United have not been in for Alderweireld all summer. And I've had to listen to people saying all summer, oh, United are going to sign him. And back in May, oh, United are signing Alderweireld. It's a done deal. And it's not a done deal. It's never been a done deal. I don't think we've ever really been in for Alderweireld. And I pretty much know that for a fact. We might come in for him in the next 3 weeks because we are desperately trying to get some deals done. And Woodward's got to get the stock price up and he's got to get the fan opinion ratings up. And the only way you're going to do that in the summer is by signing players. So we may come in for Alderweireld, but you've got to be very careful because you'll get the idiots saying, I told you we were in for him. And we weren't. Manchester United categorically have not been in for And that has been by credible people saying that as well, not just me. So if we do go in for him now at this late stage, Lenglet's gone. We can't get Skriniar from Inter Milan. I like Bonucci, but I would prefer Alderweireld because he is Premier League proven and he's 2 years younger. So if we can get that deal done at this stage, it's encouraging, but I still do not think we can get business done with Spurs. It's so difficult. So I don't think we can, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, drop a like on the video. Give us your comments. I've discussed quite a lot today, and there's a lot of new stuff then there, especially around Arnautovic and the buy-in stuff. But don't forget the first topic: Shaw or Sandro. Which would you go for? Because we can't have both, and why? And there's a poll in the top right-hand corner as well. Smash that like button. Get your comments in below on everything else we've discussed. And we've got Flex and Rant's 1 o'clock show coming up. And tonight at 8 o'clock, and is the Skype show for you to call in. We're doing that twice a week now because I bloody love the Skype shows and I love your calls. So 8 o'clock tonight for that. And then a little bit later, in the early hours of Friday morning, we've got our first Manchester United watch-along of the season. Can't wait for that, so join me for that. Make sure you subscribe, drop a like on the video. And remember, we're giving another one of these away on the watch-along tonight. We're giving away another blankety-blank checkbook and pound. I would have given away another of the Manchester United shirts. Look, there it goes. Train tracks on the bottom. So, thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all soon. Bloody nice shirt, that. Bloody nice. It's a real grower. I really have grown into it. Grown to like it, sorry.